Good evening, you're now with me, Razi Ahmad, for Tvs Nightline. Here are the headlines for tonight. Sarawak Premier Abang Johari says Sarawak does not infringe upon or violate Petronas' autonomy over oil and gas management. The proposal to build the YAYASAN Sarawak International School in BETONG has been approved. And Abang Johari announces an allocation of 1.4 billion ringgit to develop BETONG division. Sarawak does not infringe upon or violate Petronas' autonomy over oil and gas management. Sarawak Premier Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg reiterates Sarawak's commitment to constitutional provisions, specifically Schedule 9, Part 5, while emphasizing Sarawak's right to generate revenue through sales taxation.
Yang pentingnya Part 5 kan 4 Schedule 9 kita ada kuasa sales tax. Kita ada kuasa untuk mencari pendapatan kita pun dalam perlembagaan. Jadi saya gunakanlah. Itu sebab kita dah undang-undang kita dah lulus. Kita ada kuasa untuk menguruskan gas distribution. Dan kini itu gas aggregator akan diurus oleh Petronas, tidak Petronas. Udah, orang dah start ngaka silama lagi Sarawak tu nak kuasakan semua hal minyak. Bukan saya ngambil hak Petronas, saya dah ngambil hak PDA. Saya ngambil gas distribution ya, kita ada undang-undang sebelum Malaysia. Kena dimiri mari, udah ada gas pipe ke rumah. Dan ada undang-undang. Jadi kita kata sebelum Malaysia kita ada undang-undangnya belum lagi di-repeal, ya boleh diguna pakai. Jadi kini tu kita ada kuasa dari sudut distribution of gas. Dan kita beri kuasa kepada Petros. Saya dah ambil hak Petronas. Ada orang nulis surat silama lagi Petronas akan teruk oleh Petros. Saya dah, ya hak kita. Saya tahu juga ngambil hak orang yang berdosa.
Additionally, Abang Johari noted that gas distribution legislation preceded Malaysia's establishment. Abang Johari clarified that through a systematic approach to oil and gas development, Sarawak successfully generated around 13 billion ringgit in revenue last year.
Meanwhile, Sarawak Premier Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg has approved a proposal to establish the YAYASAN Sarawak International School in BETONG. According to Abang Johari, the next step for the government is to first identify a suitable location for the construction of the school.
Masuk anak kita yang masuk sekolah tu mesti ada peperiksaan entrance examination. Buat mananya ada standard. Kalau anak kita lulus dalam standard tu, barunya dapat masuk dalam sekolah antarabangsa. Dan ia bergantung kepada silabus Cambridge. Sebab kalaunya lulus kita mari senior Cambridge, kalaunya lulus atas sukatan antarabangsa, universiti antarabangsa boleh menerimanya.
He was speaking at the Ngabang Gawai Dayak Betong 2024 ceremony at Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Stephen Kalong Ningkan Sports Hall earlier today. Meanwhile, Abang Johari said he will also consider the construction of a Centre for Technology Excellence Sarawak Centex in Betong.
Centex dah ada teknologi yang boleh mempergandakan pengeluaran padi. Sudah ada. Nyampun pilot project di Kuching. Jadi Sentek situ boleh gunakan teknologi yang ada di Kuching, yang boleh menambahkan the yield of paddy. Jadi ya boleh empat ke situ. Sentek. Dari sudut fashion, budaya, Sentek ada. Jadi kita latihlah dengan kepakaran yang ada Sentek. Mudah ada pendapatannya, berilah kita mula bangunan yang baru, Sentek dia betul.
Previously, the proposal was put forward by Deputy Sarawak Premier cum Bukit Saban Assemblyman Dato' Amar Douglas Uga Ambas.
In the same event, Abang Johari also announced that an allocation of 1.4 billion ringgit has been approved by the Sarawak government to implement development projects in BETONG. The amount, according to him, has been channeled to the BETONG Division Development Agency or BDDA.
Angka yang ada saya, pembangunan infrastruktur yang telah dilulus di bawah BDDA 67 projek dan peruntukannya 552,240 juta. 552 juta 240,000. 552 juta infrastruktur saja yang telah dilulus.
Meanwhile, for social and women's development, there are 45 projects over 348 million ringgit. For agriculture, 42 projects over 255 million ringgit. For business and enterprise, 32 projects at 130 million ringgit. For tourism and the environment, 13 projects at 98 million ringgit. And for utilities and telecommunications, there are 9 projects involving over 34 million ringgit. Commenting further, Abang Johari said the money came from Sarawak's earnings achieved through diligent efforts and close collaboration between leaders and its people.
Kalau orang tadi madah kita makin nasib, kita tu makin nasib saja. Si kerja, malas, si dapat. Yang kita jaya hari itu ialah kita sama-sama bekerja kuat. Dan kita gunakan pendekatan yang baru.
Also in the same event, Abang Johari announced the implementation of a housing and commercial center project in BETONG Division. Abang Johari also approved an allocation of 5 million ringgit for the construction of a mosque in BETONG.
Jadi saya ada berunding dengan Datuk Gerald. Kerana kita ada jalan baru daripada Seri Aman terus ke Betong, akan menemui jalan daripada Pen Borneo ke Betong, dan di simpangnya kita akan membangunkan projek perumahan. Jadi saya telah luluskan dengan DNSB tadi untuk kita mulakan projek perumahan dan juga commercial area di simpang jalan menuju Seri Aman dan jalan Betong. Area ya boleh membekalkan 1,000 lot rumah. Jadi kita siapkan 1,000, kita berfasa-fasa. Datuk Gerald letak also membantu orang Islam situ. Jadi saya tanya, tadi apa hal? Wabi, masjid kami kecil gila. Jadinya nak mula kita ada masjid baru. Jadi ada short sikit lah, 5 juta supaya jumlah makmumnya 1,000 orang. Bolehlah Gerald. Mudah-mudahan juga Batara beri banyak rezeki dengan you. Kena niat baik.
The outstanding leadership of Sarawak Premier Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg has elevated Sarawak to international renown. According to Sarawak Deputy Premier Datuk Amar Douglas Uga Ambas, Abang Johari's leadership is a source of pride for the people as he has effectively positioned Sarawak on the global map through the implementation of green energy initiatives, resulting in significant income generation for the region.
Uga added this is also thanks to Abang Johari's stern and daring leadership in fighting for Sarawak's rights.
Satu hari saya melihat peta Southeast Asia mengenai hidrogen. Dan saya melihat peta bukan di Kuala Lumpur, bukan di Singapura, flagnya. Bukan di Thailand, tapi di Kuching, Sarawak. Ini adalah satu pencapaian yang berhormat yang cukup kita hargai. His innovative policies, forward thinking, make him well known not only in Southeast Asia, tapi terus ke Eropah, belum lama tadi in Thailand, in Japan. Soon he will be invited all over the place. Dan Yasa, you have put Sarawak di peta dunia, which make all of us proud.
He was speaking at the Ngabang Gawai Dayak Betong 2024 ceremony. Also present at the event were Minister of Women, Childhood and Community Wellbeing Development, Datuk Sri Fatimah Abdullah, as well as Minister of Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts Sarawak, Datuk Sri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah.
The Sarawak Kabaddi team is aiming for their first ever gold medal in the history of their participation in the Kabaddi event at the Malaysia Games Sukma, which has been contested since 2008 in Terengganu. Competing on home ground this August, Sarawak is confident of securing 2 gold medals, one each in the men's and women's categories. They aim to surpass their performance from 2 years ago when they won 2 bronze medals.
Coach of the Sarawak Kabaddi team, Muhammad Shukran Wahab, said that this goal seems realistic given the current performance of his players, as well as the early preparations that began last year and the advantage of playing at home.
Itu mereka dah training dah lama dah. Kalau masuk tahun ini dah setahun lebih dah. So kebersamaan mereka dalam pasukan ini memang kita tak dapat lagi persoalkan sebab mereka dah bersama lama. Okey, rasa macam satu pasukan tu, spirit as a one team tu dah ada dah. Impian untuk Kabaddi Sarawak untuk mendapatkan emas adalah impian daripada dahulu lagi. Kita dapat lihat petasi Kabaddi Sarawak daripada dulu. Pasukan Kabaddi Sarawak kita lihat orang panggil dulu pasukan underdog. Sekarang pasukan Kabaddi Sarawak sudah diguni oleh pasukan negeri lain. Dan kita harap, dan memang kita harap dapat menyumbangkan kerana susah untuk acara Kabaddi Sukma ini untuk berada di tanah air sendiri. Kemudian kita dapat menyumbangkan emas untuk negeri Sarawak di tempat kita sendiri.
Commenting further, Shukran said that his team, which includes both seasoned players and newcomers, had undergone a week-long training session in Thailand last month with the national Kabaddi team. Meanwhile, captain of the Sarawak women's Kabaddi team, Nur Ismahani Isnizam, said that she and her teammates are eager and well prepared for the upcoming Sukma Games.
Sejak kekalahan dengan negeri Selangor, Sukma 2022, memang kini memang dah bersedia dalam 85%. Untuk Sukma 2024 tu memang bersedia dari 2022, memang training everyday sampai hari tu.
Meanwhile, captain of the Sarawak men's Kabaddi team, Wan Faizuddin Wan Abdul Rahman, acknowledged the challenges ahead, but remains confident in his team's ability to overcome competitors from other states.
Mereka pun dah lama main, so bagi kami yang akan memberi cabaran wilayah Persekutuan Kuala Lumpur dengan Selangor. Kenapa? Sebab to be honest, Sidap pun experience lebih banyak daripada mereka. Lagipun Sidap pun tournament di negeri Sidap memang banyak, compared to Kuching agak kurang lah. Tapi kami orang confident lah lawan dia.
The Sukma Games in Sarawak, scheduled from August 17th to 24th, 2024, will feature the Kabaddi event in Lundu.
Welcome back on TVS Nightline. Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim announced today that the Malaysia Madani Nationhood Training Module enables you to learn about the nation's history and value the contributions of past leaders and warriors. He explained that the module is rooted in the federal constitution and adapted to modern advancements, particularly digitalization. During the module's launch, he said that the Malays, with the spirit of nationalism and independence, form the backbone of the country, supported by the contributions of the Chinese, Indians, Dayak, Iban, Melanau, and other ethnic communities. Anwar also said that youngsters should learn about the strengths and contributions of former leaders to dynamically improve and raise the dignity of the nation. Meanwhile, Singapore is set to share knowledge and expertise in the use of Electronic Productivity Submission System (EPSS) to assist the construction industry in Malaysia to measure worker productivity in the sector. Works Minister Dato Sri Alexander Nanta Linggi said that it was among the issues discussed in a bilateral meeting with Singapore's Minister for National Development, Desmond Lee.
In Singapore, builders are required to monitor manpower usage in their projects and submit the data to the Building and Construction Authority through the EPSS. From the data collected, the agency can calculate the industry average project productivity for different building categories. Meanwhile, regarding the expansion plan of the North-South Expressway Plus between North Senai and Sedenak in Johor, Nanta said that increasing the lanes from 4 to 6 is expected to make travel from Singapore to Johor more comfortable and convenient. This expansion is anticipated to have a positive impact on the economic and logistics sectors of both countries. Nanta added that the meeting between him and Lee was very fruitful, as it opened up opportunities and stimulated efforts to create potential cooperation, particularly in the development of infrastructure and construction between Malaysia and Singapore.
Communications Minister Fahmi Fadzal has announced that the theme of the National Day and Malaysia Day HKHM celebrations this year will be Malaysia Madani Jiwa Merdeka. He highlighted that the chosen theme symbolizes the comprehensive unity of a developing and advancing nation, reflecting a diverse, united and resilient population.
Signifikan majlis pelancaran ini adalah bagi mengira detik menuju sambutan Hari Kebangsaan 2024 pada 31 Ogos di Putrajaya. Seterusnya, momentum kemeriahan dan semangat patriotik akan terus disuburkan sehingga sambutan Hari Malaysia 2024 yang jatuh pada 16 September bertempat di Sabah.
Fahmi also disclosed that the theme, Jiwa Merdeka, expresses the freedom of the people from any negative elements in interpreting the patriotic spirit and then forming a strong, harmonious and progressive unity of the people. He said this when announcing the theme and logo of the 2024 HKHM celebrations earlier today, which the Cabinet agreed to retain the previous year's HKHM logo for this year's celebration.
The Malaysian government will confront social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter, that allows users to upload sexual content. Minister of Communications Fahmi Fadzil said the government will raise the matter via the Malaysian Communication and Multimedia Commission or MCMC with the said platform.
Saya percaya Datuk Ali daripada MCMC akan sampaikan untuk pastikan semua platform, bukan hanya X tapi semua platform faham bahawa beberapa perkara termasuk judi dalam talian, termasuk bahan-bahan lucah dan juga perkara-perkara yang tidak dibenarkan berdasarkan undang-undang negara kita dipatuhi oleh platform-platform ini, termasuklah yang sedang berlaku di X.
Fahmi's statement came after Elon Musk announced that all users can now upload sexual content on X. The latest review on X's user policy not only allows more disruptive content to penetrate to vulnerable groups, especially minors, but it also allows the dissemination of X-rated content as long as it is consented by parties involved. Though the policy did state that access to sexual graphic are restricted from those below the mature age of 18 years old and those who choose not to have access to it, many still question how easy it is for minors to have access, ignoring the age restriction.
Slovenia's parliament approved a decree recognizing a Palestinian state on Tuesday as part of the efforts to end the fighting in Gaza and despite opposition attempts to block it. The decree passed with 52 out of 90 members voting in favor. Slovenian Minister of Foreign and European Affairs Tanja Fajon said the decision aligns Slovenia with 3 other European nations that recognized a Palestinian state last week in response to the devastating Gaza conflict.
Danes je velik, je pomemben korak. Slovenija je storila in sprejela zgodovinsko odločitev o priznanju države Palestina. Jaz sem ponosna, da sta tako slovenska vlada kot državni parlament zbrala ta pogum in da sem lahko bila del te zgodbe. S tem predvsem sporočamo, da si želimo odpravo krivic, ki so se dogajale palestinskemu ljudstvu in da priznavamo njihovo pravico do samoodločbe.
For the record, Spain, Ireland and Norway recognized a Palestinian state last week, bringing to 145 the number of the United Nations' 193 member states that have recognized Palestinian statehood. With the decree, Slovenia recognizes the Palestinian state within the territories set by a 1967 UN resolution or according to any future peace agreement reached by both parties.
Indonesian President Joko Widodo, also known as Jokowi, has expressed confidence in commencing work at the new office in Nusantara, Indonesia's new capital in East Kalimantan province, in July. He said that while the office's completion is imminent, the only remaining requirement is the installation of water supply.
During his working visit to the province since Tuesday, he observed that the development progress of several first-phase infrastructures in Nusantara is at about 80%. Jokowi also inspected the site for the first-ever 79th Independence Day celebration of the Republic, which will take place on August 17th. All preparations and venues are nearly completed, he said, as quoted by the Public Relations, Media and Information Bureau of the Presidential Secretariat in a statement today. An official from the Ministry of Public Works and People's Housing, Diana Kusumastuti, said that the construction of the Presidential Palace in Nusantara is proceeding as planned for completion in July. She added the palace is set to be inaugurated on August 17th, coinciding with Indonesia's Independence Day.
A former Palestinian Meta engineer has filed a lawsuit against the company after he was fired for trying to help fix bugs that caused the suppression of content related to the genocide in Gaza on Instagram. Faraz Hamad, who had been on Meta's learning team since 2021, sued the social media giant in a California state court for discrimination, wrongful termination, and other wrongdoing over his February dismissal. In the complaint, Hamad accused Meta of a pattern of bias against Palestinians, saying the company deleted internal employee communications that mentioned the deaths of their relatives in Gaza and conducted investigations into their use of the Palestinian flag emoji.
Contrary to Hamad's mistreatment, employees posting Israeli content or using the Ukrainian flag emojis had no such investigations launched against them. Currently, Meta has not responded to Hamad's allegations. Hamad's claims reflect long-standing criticism by human rights groups over Meta's performance, moderating the content posted to its platforms about Israel and the Palestinian territories, including in an external investigation the company commissioned in 2021. Since the outbreak of the Israel-Palestine conflict last year, Meta has faced accusations that it was suppressing expressions of support for Palestinians living amid the genocide. Nearly 200 Meta employees raised similar concerns in an open letter to Chief Executive Mark Zuckerberg and other leaders earlier this year. Hamad said his firing appeared to stem from an incident in December involving an emergency procedure designed to troubleshoot severe problems with the company's platforms. He noted procedural irregularities in the handling of an SEV related to restrictions on content posted by Palestinian Instagram personalities that prevented the posts from appearing in searches and feeds. In one case, the complaint alleged he found that a short video posted by Palestinian photojournalist Motaz Azaiza had been misclassified as pornographic even though it showed a destroyed building in Gaza. Hamad said he received conflicting guidance from other employees about the status of the SEV and whether he was authorized to help resolve it, though he had worked on similar sensitive SEVs before, including ones related to Israel, Gaza, and Ukraine. His manager later confirmed in writing that the SEV was part of his job function. The next month, after a Meta representative told him he was the subject of an investigation, Hamad filed an internal discrimination complaint and days later was fired. Hamad said Meta told him he was fired for violating a policy barring employees from working on issues with accounts of people they know personally, referring to Azaiza, the photojournalist. The complainant said he had no personal connection to Azaiza.
Pop culture powerhouse Japan wants to expand its overseas market for video games, manga, and anime fourfold within a decade. Japan, the birthplace of comic and cartoon epics such as Dragon Ball and game franchises from Super Mario to Final Fantasy, sees the creative industries as a driver for growth on par with steel and semiconductors.
In its revised Cool Japan strategy released on Tuesday, June 4th, the government said it aims to boost exports of these cultural assets to 20 trillion yen, which is equal to 610.8 billion ringgit. In 2022, Japan's gaming, anime, and manga sectors raked in 4.7 trillion yen from abroad, close to microchips exports at 5.7 trillion yen, government data shows. Hence, Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has instructed his ministers to put the plan into action as soon as possible. The document stated that in recent years, anime and manga has played an extremely important role in attracting bigger and bigger young audiences abroad, serving as their gateway to Japan. A pandemic-fueled streaming boom helped boost the global profile of anime, including franchises like Demon Slayer, which has had global box office hits. Additionally, the burgeoning phenomenon of VTubers, or also known as virtual animated YouTubers, playing video games is also helping to boost Japan's international soft power, the strategy said. Combining these sectors' growth with related industries including fashion, cosmetics, and inbound tourism, Japan is targeting an economic benefit of 50 trillion yen by 2033. The strategy also includes plans to stiffen a crackdown on piracy websites that illegally distribute anime and manga for free in languages including English and Vietnamese. Although strengthening measures against piracy websites are being undertaken to tackle piracy, swift intergovernmental action is crucial to effectively rid Japan from the problem.
And those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Razi Ahmad. Thank you for watching.